got some chicken. All right, so this past week has been pretty epic. Honestly, I got a ton of work done during the week, which frees up some time during the weekend so that way I can actually meal prep and get ready for this coming week. But anyway, I'm gonna show you guys what I normally do for my meal prep, and I haven't necessarily been meal prepping specifically over the last few weeks, but all the food groups are all the same. Now, for me, I'm really looking forward to this meal prep just because it's gonna save me some time going into this week, because I know I'm just gonna be back-to-back in meetings. But otherwise, for me, honestly, I don't get weirded out or I don't get tired of eating the same thing over and over. For me, it's really more so about how I season the foods and how I cook them, so that way I can kind of change like the palate or just change the way that the texture of these foods kind of come out. So sometimes I'll steam sweet potatoes, sometimes I'll bake them, sometimes I'll fry them, air fry them. So they kind of come out a little different, right? And so it's not always the same exact recipe. But I'm gonna take you guys through the recipes, or at least the seasonings, some of my favorite ways to prepare chicken. But the biggest reason why I tend to stick with like, I guess a cleaner or more of a simplified meal plan is just because honestly, for me, a lot of times when I get stressed or when I eat these bad boys right here, the combination of the sweets and the sugars tend to really get to me, so I tend to break out. So over the last, I don't know, month and a half, I broke out pretty bad. And now because of my diet, like getting cleaned up, things have kind of cleaned up a little bit here. So personally, having a balance between the sweets and then also kind of a cleaner meal prep really helps me out. Cookie in the house. So we just got back from some fasted cardio. Now, first thing in the morning, I'm hitting myself up with some cream of rice or some oats. But as of late, probably the last couple of months, I've been hitting up cream of rice. It's definitely a little bit more pricier compared to your oats, but it's also a nice little change of pace. But we're gonna hit this with a 1/3 cup of cream of rice. And so keep in mind, guys, I actually use the cream of rice for breakfast and for my pre-workout snack. So usually it's gonna be about the same amount of volume. So a 1/3 cup of cream of rice, and then this bad boy right here. So if you guys have been following the channel for quite some time, you guys know that I love dates for my pre-workout snack. Super quick, easy on the stomach, and quick acting sugars. But turn this into an actual date spread that you can literally spoon directly out of, just shove into your mouth, go directly to the gym, or you can throw it into your smoothies, toss it on toast, put it into your oatmeal, put it into your cream of rice, which we're about to do. But I literally just use a tablespoon of this. But my brother and I have been working on this for the last couple of years, and I'm super stoked about this. So if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, supporting us, check out the link in the description box below. But otherwise, we're gonna do a tablespoon of this bad boy right here. And that's what the day spread looks like. Pure heavenly bliss of maple and cinnamon flavor. Then we've got about 1.5 cups of water. Go ahead and pop it in the microwave, and we'll do 2 minutes and 20 seconds. While this bad boy cools down, we're gonna go ahead and make the eggs. And that's 1 full cup of egg whites along with 1 egg. Gonna go ahead and give us a nice mix. So that's usually the texture that I prefer with the cream of rice. Keep in mind, guys, you could totally throw in a scoop of protein in here. And that's normally what I do for my pre-workout, but for the mornings, I like to get up just because I'm in my chair all day for work. And the act of making my breakfast, it's just a great way for me to kind of start the day. So breakfast and then also my pre-workout snack are usually the meals that I don't really prep, but otherwise the rest of the meals we're gonna actually put into meal prep containers. And that's it, guys. Eggs, cream of rice, ton of water. Pro tip, guys, make sure to wash the bowl of cream of rice because it's gonna be the biggest pain if you let it sit. So first up, we've got 4 pounds of chicken. So here's the ingredients that I use for my chicken marinade. Now, honestly, in terms of balsamic vinegar, if you guys aren't big fans of the balsamic vinegar, you can swap it out for lemon juice. You can use it for apple cider vinegar or regular vinegar. And then we've got the balsamic and roasted onion veggie roaster. So I picked this up over at Costco. This does a really nice job of basically just complementing the balsamic vinegar that we've got here, and then also kind of giving a little bit of a roasted kind of deeper flavor. And then we've also got some minced garlic. We can never have enough garlic. And then we've got the spicy brown mustard. Now, honestly, I don't usually use this for this marinade. Typically, I end up using actually a Dijon mustard. It has, I think, a better complement in terms of having a deeper, like a roasted overall flavor. And then we've got some smoked salt along with my favorite, the rosemary. So let's go ahead and whip this up. So we just tossed in some of that garlic. Now we're gonna hit some olive oil. So I'm just gonna use basically 2 tablespoons of this stuff. Honestly, you don't have to use olive oil, but since I am on a bulk, ain't no shame in that fat. Next up, we've got a spicy mustard. So when it comes to this bad boy right here, honestly, the vinegars go a long way. So you typically don't need a whole lot, but I love the flavor of balsamic vinegar, so we're gonna go to town. And for reference, this is just a 1/3 cup. I'm telling you guys, this makes a world of a difference, especially on your Brussels sprouts. Do a little dab. So this marinade's definitely ready to go. The marinade should be in the description box, but what I typically love to do is actually use a little bit of honey and throw it into the mix, just because it kind of adds a nice little balance. You know, you have a little bit of sweetness, have a little bit of savory, and it just blends. Delicious. Now, all of this is about a little under 4 pounds of chicken, but we're gonna go ahead and toss this in the marinade, and then we're just gonna let this do its thing. And we got the rice cooker doing its thing. Yo, rice be getting swole. Peeling all these sweet potatoes. Downside of meal prep. Just gonna toss in all those sweet potatoes here. So when it comes to the sweet potatoes, I actually like to try and keep it pretty simple. So we're gonna hit it with some good old olive oil, a good old tablespoon or so. Super light coating. And then I hit it with some salt and black pepper. Pop this bad boy in. All right, time to fill her up. So 1 cup should typically be about 7 ounces. Ooh, close. While these bad boys are cooking, we're gonna work on the chicken. Damn, that is looking good. All right, so here's the chicken that we prepared and marinated for the last, I don't know, few hours. But we're gonna go ahead and toss this on the stovetop. So here we've got 4 tilapia fillets. Each one's about 5 ounces or so, topped off with some crushed red peppers, along with some black pepper, and then some salt and a little bit of olive oil. But otherwise, personally, I'd love to actually grill fish just because it has way more flavor to the fish. But otherwise, we're just gonna bake this for about, I'm gonna say about 30, 40 minutes. And yeah, should be good to go. So typically when it comes to prepping the proteins, I'd love to actually douse everything in a marinade, because marinades, you know, whether you let it sit for a couple hours or overnight, everything is just gonna taste way more flavorful. But for the fish, trying to just keep it super simple, at least this time around. Probably the next batch that I do, going into next week or even the following weeks, I'll probably actually build a marinade. And normally for the marinades, especially for tilapia, my go-to is like a lemon garlic glaze. Oh yeah, gotta love them sweet potatoes. So we've got 6 ounces of sweet potatoes here, and then we've got our leftovers. Ooh, these bad boys are done. I actually forget how long meal prepping actually takes, but these are gonna be my meals for the next couple of days. Now, what we've got are, so essentially each day I'll have 2 of these and then 2 of these. Now, considering all of these meals here, this will probably hold me over for 3 days. Oh, and somewhere in between all of those meals, I gotta sneak in an Anna bar or an uncut bar. So these meals that we just prepped here are essentially like my midday meals. Earlier, you guys saw my breakfast, and then for my pre-workout meal, it's basically the same thing as breakfast minus the eggs. So I'm usually just gonna have the cream of rice along with a scoop of protein. And then post-workout, I'm gonna have basically 2 scoops of protein along with 1 banana. And then in addition to the banana, I've also been including this carb powder, basically about a scoop and a half. So in terms of the meal prep, that's pretty much it. Now I'm probably gonna keep to this for the next few weeks, and then honestly, I'll probably swap out some of the proteins, and then also just how I'm actually prepping the food. So rather than doing stovetop or baking, probably throw into air fryer or even actually grilling. So it's just super easy variables that you can swap out, even though you're eating generally like the same stuff. And so that way you're kind of on top of your diet and actually enjoying it, rather than like, whatever, like I don't want to eat the same shit over and over. But otherwise, that's, you know, that is pretty much it. These are absolute staples. And then if I end up having a cheat meal or dessert, then I'll definitely, you know, balance out some of those calories. But outside of that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.